What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another Black Desert video. So the other day I was just sitting in game thinking, what do I want to do today? And it got me thinking, what life skills are actually competitive with grinding? And we're going to talk about this in a way that's, a majority of people can relate to. So let's say you're about like 1,000 to 2,500 mastery. That's where I would say a majority of people are, and the people who are pushing past that are obviously, end game players. And we're also going to be comparing like grind spots. Let's say you can make 2 to 3 billion silver an hour, and we'll just say 2 for the sake of baseline. So I was looking at all my life skills, and I'm like, which ones can mid-game players or like people who are just returning to the game do if they don't want to grind all day? And yeah, so let's talk about that. I've made a bunch of videos in the past talking about what life skills are, near the top, which ones are easy to do. But I just want to say, if you have, average gear, and we're also going to be including if you're using these secret books and, all the buffs that give like mastery, because we've had a lot of events going on and people have either been saving them or have no idea what to do with it. I guess that would be a good idea. So including like 200 or 300 if you have, all the buffs of an event stuff running, plus anything else you have, gear, and so on. So let's go down the list. Gathering. I actually believe gathering is one of the strongest life skills in the game. And I do personally believe that it can compete with grinding at a mid-level sake. So people who are, grinding, once again, 2 bill an hour, let's just take that number. If you decide to do gathering with about at least 500 energy, and you're also potentially popping energy potions on the side, or let's say every week you collect the things from your shrine bosses and then make the herbal medicine and so on. If you're using all those in like a 1 or 2 hour period, well, this one adds another hour to it. I would say if you're selling everything by gathering, it competes with mid-tier grinding and lower end game spots. So one thing I wanted to talk about was which gathering should you do? And then people have always asked which one is important. So we're going to be talking about this, or all 6 different tools in terms of what they primarily do. So going down the list, we have the Monos Lumbering Axe. If you enjoy self-crafting a lot of your gear, let's say you're making, I don't know, a boat or a carrack, chances are there's a lot of materials you're going to have to get yourself, including a lot of timbers and everything. Timbers, if you process them and just straight up sell them to the market, they're pretty profitable. So let's say these timbers are tier 1 materials, and then the planks are tier 2, plywoods are tier 3. If you turn your timbers into tier 3 plank or plywoods and just straight up sell it to the market, it's pretty decent amount of silver as well. But the people who go above and beyond and min-max their silver are turning these plywoods into various things and then selling the item that they crafted, and that's where the profit comes in generally. So yeah, just in general, gathering for timbers and everything, pretty solid. I would say it is, of all the life tools, probably number 3. If you were going for direct silver and then doing something along with it, like cooking, alchemy, butchering, and fluid collecting with the saps and the meats, that is very profitable. Like, if you know what to make, which that kind of changes on the regular, just because people find items that you can sell regularly, and then if people told you what it was, the market would crash. So people like to keep their things, gate kept and everything. But it really just depends on what is being gathered at the time and what's being made. So yeah, a lot of saps and everything. I will say just harmony elixirs, and then the high end ones. Alchemy is a little bit more straightforward than cooking, because cooking just changes on the regular. So does alchemy, but there's so many alchemy elixirs and potions and everything you can make, but there's a lot more recipes for cooking. So yeah, I would say fluid collecting, like bloods, saps, more particular in saps, and then meats are always very profitable, whether you sell it to the market directly or you like turn it into a craft and you're doing good. Mono's pickaxe. Now this one is more unique because if you like gathering everything yourself, chances are you use this to mine the rough stone to make the cooking stations or the alchemy stuff in general. So it's not as profitable, but you need these to make the other things that, like, all the life skills are connected in one way or the other. Tanning knife is more for self-crafting, like horse gears, leathers to make various other things. If you don't know what to make, just hit your F2 in game and hit like crafting notes, and then you'll see like what all these do. Just find something, and then in game it's pretty easy. Mono's hoe for herb gathering. Now this one is more for XP than anything. Herb gathering has always just generally been very solid for XP, but it turns more into alchemy than anything because you're like gathering herbs and everything. So yeah, it connects with more of like one life skill, whereas this one is processing, for example, the lumbering axe. It's kind of like a whole flow chart, but if you just want silver, I would say fluid collecting, herb gathering, and meats in general. Everything else is kind of self-crafting in a way. Tanning knife is more specific. It's not a beginner-friendly one, but yeah. So that was kind of a long-winded rant on everything. But yeah, just in general, whether you're selling materials directly to the market, just let's say you chop a tree, sell that wood to the market or something, it's profitable. Gathering is, I would say, top tier in terms of, you know, competitive with grinding. Fishing. Yeah, fishing is just pretty good. Here's the thing though, when everyone says fishing is a lot of silver, it's like you're AFK fishing throughout the entire day. So like 1 hour of grinding generally beats out an entire day of fishing, but one requires a little bit of effort, whereas the other one is you're literally just AFK in a game doing nothing. So in terms of like, depending on how much you play, let's say you leave your game on at night or you're going to work, right? And then you just leave it fishing on. It's very solid. Fishing has just always been good. I have another video that I did with Choice, and we talked about all the good spots, how much you make at every spot. Things are still changing, but for the most part, I think that one is a complete video, so you guys can watch that if you want to know more details on where to go about fishing and everything and how to get started. But yeah, fishing is a zero effort activity, and you just make billions of silver with a decent amount of mastery, and even beginners make a decent amount. So fishing, S tier as well. Hunting. Now, I actually low-key think hunting is one of the top life skills that competes with grinding. However, there is a high entry to start it, and the reason why I think hunting is like profitable, but you have to invest in it, is because of the actual main like rifle that you need to do it. So let me show you. So this is my sniper character, right? Now it requires different tiers of using the matchlock or the sniper rifle, and it requires, like, for example, to get the best rifle, you need like Artisan 10 or a certain amount of mastery. So if you're not doing it with the goal of profit and you're just going to do it for fun at the beginning, you don't necessarily need all the accessories and the clothes and everything. But if you are mid-game and you already have life accessories, I think this one is good. I have another video talking about where to go, how much silver things make, tips and tricks on how to actually get started with it, and what you do. So there's two different types of sniper rifle hunting. One in Odraxia. Oh, did they change that? Hold on. Anyway, one down in Odraxia called Narcion. It's down here as well. And this is, I would say, the best for XP and decent silver. Whereas the other one is up here. We have sniper rifle hunting, which is more for silver. And then recently they added a few spots down in Adonia where it's like certain spots where you can like hunt for various other things, like rock elephants and hunting zones. So yeah, it's very profitable. It's just a little bit of an investment, which if you already are invested into Lifeskills, I would definitely recommend trying it. It's probably around, I would say, 2 bill an hour on average if you're, you know what you're doing. Maybe less if you're just starting, but once you get the hang of things and you get to like Guru, it's pretty good. So yeah, once again, have another video. I'll leave that in the description if you care to learn about hunting. It's a little bit more advanced and not a beginner friendly thing compared to like fishing and gathering, but it is very high tier in silver. Cooking. Okay, so cooking is definitely another S tier life skill. However, it does require a little bit of an investment and a little bit of knowledge on what to do. So I've talked about this before, where you know how your entire node setup is like important. So what you want to do is set up your nodes based on like what you want to make and cook. And what I would pick is the bottlenecks that you need. So like, for example, you can gather 3 different items or 3 different materials that you like, and then one is just out of the way, you hate doing it, try to put a worker on that node. And then after that, once you figure out like what kind of materials you have, and you're thinking, okay, so what do I make now? Once again, kind of like crafting notes and then cooking, look through all of them and see which one's profitable at the time, and then just like scroll down, find it, and then it tells you how to make everything. The most important ones that I would say generally sells and is decent profit are cron meals, and like all the different meals for life skillers, PvEers, PvPers. So no matter what you're doing in the game, these are always used. And then various other different foods are, just depends on what is being sold at the time. People do Imperial boxes, so that's another source of profit. But if you just have a bunch of materials and you don't know what to do with it, just try to look at the market. And then I would say central market, go down to like consumables for like elixirs and everything for alchemy, foods, and then just like see, hey, what will make me the most profit at this time. You just look at the stock and everything, and you see what might be good to sell at any given day and so on. So yeah, cooking is a long-term thing. It's not just like, oh, I make this batch of things for today and it's super profit, but like over the course of a week or something, when you collect all the materials and you just do like a week's worth of crafting, you'll see the profits, like the average competes with grinding and so on. So yeah, cooking, very good. Just really just depends on what you're making. Alchemy, this one is a little bit more tricky because if you're doing Imperial delivery, I would say about 99% of the things you are losing money on it. So it's one of those, you have to be very careful. The profit margins are very narrow. However, things I could tell you that are profit, but long-term profit, like you have to make them weeks on end to do it, are just generally, I would say harmonies are always good depending on like what events are going on. For example, right now we have a PvP event going on, Guild League, and all that stuff. So harmonies are human damage, and PvP ones are generally higher. If we have events going on for like certain regions, those are different. But also at the same time, those are more advanced things. But for regular people, here's what I would recommend for alchemists just getting started. With all the materials you've collected over the week or the month, just start making all the blue and green elixirs, and then figure out how to make different like what harmonies you need and everything. So just look at the price of all of them and then figure out, hey, this one is probably more profit. Once you get to the end game and mid game, you're starting to craft more advanced elixirs and other things like going out to the ocean with gathering, perfumes, drafts, and also like other more expensive perfumes like these and everything. It's just one of those things. Yeah, so alchemy, a little bit stricter on the profit margins. That's why I wouldn't say it's top tier, but someone has to do it because those are very important items for literally everyone in the game. Processing. Now this one is really just an AFK activity. If you like gathering, you get a bunch of materials like we told you before. So like you get all these materials from just doing random things, or if your workers are collecting whatever materials, and then you process it. So what do? It's a low investment. Basically, you just get one of these processing stones so you can mass process everything. And I know this is one of the things where it's a little bit pay to win, but I think they've given away a free outfit, and it's like the, what is it? The Venesil dress, which allows you to mass process from your storage directly. So yeah, that's one of those things where you just get all your materials over the course of like a month, process them, and then sell them or craft it into things. It's like a multi-step process, but you're turning your raw materials into like refined ones and then just selling it. So it's kind of like low-key silver that you have, and then you put in very low effort into turning them into higher materials and selling it. And yeah, you would be surprised that just turning like timbers into planks or something and selling it is very profitable, depending on which one, obviously. But you'll walk away with a lot more silver. And if you're doing multi-crafting and you have high mastery, which is something that we looked at as well, you're processing it faster and everything. So yeah, more silver, higher mastery. Training. Over the past, I would say 6 months or something, they have buffed training to the point where you can catch higher tier horses more frequently, and they come in at higher levels. So I don't remember when that patch was, but when they came out with the infinite rope and the infinite sugar, they also made horses, like the rarer horses, a little bit more common. So people are making, you know, at least 1 bill an hour, maybe more depending on RNG. So I think even for your average player, training is something you really have to enjoy doing, but with a decent amount of mastery, like, you know, mid-game mastery of 1500 or something, you're probably gonna do good. And then that also, like, if you're selling it straight to the market at whatever level they come in, that's cool. But if you want to take it a step further, that's where the mastery comes in, and you kind of like train your horses. If you can get them to courser tier with the certain skills, that's always good. They sell for more. Or you could just make them into tier 8s and then potentially turn them into tier 9s, and then that's where the big profit comes in. But just in general, I'd say for people who are just learning, get a wagon, go out to the various horse spots, and then well, I have a video of that once again. Collect 4 horses, then go to the stable master, filter out the ones that will probably like do better, like the higher tier horses that are above level 15 or close to it. Either turn them into level 15 and then sell it, or if they're, you know, decent skills, you might as well just push them to 30 and then turn them into tier 9s and so on with all the extra materials. So yeah, I would say at a baseline, training is probably 1 bill an hour. And then if you get good RNG, it's like 2+, depending on what you do with it and everything. Trading is still a dead life skill. Unfortunately, we haven't heard anything back from ever since they removed trading, like trade crates, or not crates, but like the intended purpose of trading from the game. So what do we have right now? So right now for trading, we have royal workshops. And basically, if you have these running, you don't really think about it. You just kind of every now and then you check it, do your daily refresh. So like, for example, I guess I'll show it to you since we had reset. You find one, and then ever since they buffed like the rare items over here, obviously if you get one, that's like extra silver. That's actually good. So what you would do is find something, and then you do 1 free refresh every day. Don't do it with pearls. It's not worth it. You look at the rate, and then we get it. See, we just got 1 billion silver. Easy. Okay, but that doesn't happen regularly. I just kind of got lucky on video. All right. So anyway, what happens most of the time is you just get random, or like how do I explain royal workshops? So you have these ones, right? Let's say the green workshop's running, right? You get green materials. You use those green materials plus other outside materials, turn them into yellow ones. So the way it looks like is you put in some outside materials that you had from whatever node you had going on, and then you get the green ones over here, and then you turn them into the yellow materials over here. I tried to simplify that as much as possible, so if that made sense. And then it's not a lot of silver, but every now and then, every couple of months, you just like, oh, I made a lot of materials, let's go sell it. And then you walk away with a lot of silver. It's not competitive with anything, it's just one of those things that we have. And then there's also trade crates in the game. That is where, you know, your profit comes in. So you see how, like, in towns, I have the little spinny wheel going off in 3 different ones. What we have going on is making crates, and then after a couple of months, you take all those crates and sell it by distance. So for example, if I made them in 3 towns, I would sell them in morning light because that is max distance. And with trading XP and everything, you basically make more. So is it good? No, it's not. But every now and then, like, let's say you're just playing the game, and then every couple of months you're just like, oh, I should do a trade in. And then you're like, you set it up, trade it in, come out with a couple billion silver, and it's good. So that's how trading works currently. The intended purpose is selling like special trade items from town A to B. They took that out of the game, but yeah, maybe one day it'll return. Farming. Okay, so farming is, it's not bad. It's just not like, you don't get a lot of silver directly. You get a lot of byproducts and materials that turns into the silver. So for example, let me show you what it looks like. When you do farming, you get blush leaves, right? And you can turn it into various materials. Some of the materials are used for tier 9 horses. I personally just use it for the contribution XP because more contribution XP, you can make more trade crates at cooking, and you know, that's, you just make the silver that way. But if you're not at the end game and you still need tier 9 horses, I would probably pick those materials. This is also good with various things like alchemy and cooking. We know how I talked about byproducts and products that are your bottlenecks. Yeah, you kind of want to grow those yourself. Personally, I haven't done that in a while. I do a lot of self-gathering, as you guys can see. So the things I do is for strictly contribution points and turn-ins. So one of those things, you just kind of leave it on, and then you just get stuff over time. Next, we have sailing and bartering. So bartering actually got buffed as of this patch. And before, it was like, what, a couple 100 mil every hour, which is pretty terrible. What they recently added was they added tier 6 and tier 7 materials, right? They added more ocean routes, which are, according to the patch notes down here, down in Odraxia and down in Morning Light. So yeah, so bartering, from what I've heard, is a couple billion silver. Not an hour, but like when we talk about bartering, we do it by parlay refreshing. So that's how you make the silver. How fast you do it depends on your boat. And yeah, ever since they added tier 6 and tier 7 materials, obviously it's more profit. Back in the day, you see these things you would sell for 100 million. The max was tier 5s at, 10 million each. Now they go up to, they multiplied that. So I think I've heard people say that it's about like 2 to 3 billion per, not hour, but per refresh. And you just kind of have to enjoy doing bartering. I need to make a video of that in the future because I know how to do it. I just haven't had the time. But anyway, bartering actually good now. So people who don't have a Carrack, definitely recommend it. Just a little bit more on bartering before we do anything. If you are looking for a ship or a Carrack yourself, if you're doing bartering, you want Advance because Advance has more weight and it's more of the barter boat. People who get Volante and Valor, I don't think these are bad at all. These are both very solid. Volante is the speed boat. Valor is the damage boat. So like for PvPers, Blue Battlefield, ocean dailies, sea monster hunting, which are decently profitable as well. But if you are just inland bartering and going to Margoria for exclusively tier 6, tier 7 trades and everything, or crow coins, You want the advanced. Everything else, I think Volante is a solid option. Valor is more the PvP damage boat, but as long as you don't get the balance first, like if you're a collector and you want all 4 Carracks, that's great. Just get the balance last. Everything else, it doesn't really matter. Just whichever one you think looks cooler or sounds cooler to you. But bartering, advance is what I would pick. And yeah, so bartering is solid. Sailing, it just, like, the higher your level for sailing, the faster your boat goes. There's no real mastery for bartering. It's really just what level and how much to parlay you use per exchange. So that's all the life skills I wanted to talk about. But if you wanted a TLDR, gathering is very good. Fishing, obviously, very good. Hunting is good with a high investment. Cooking is good if you know what you're doing and know what kind of recipes and you like checking the market on the regular. Processing is low effort if you just have materials rolling in from your workers daily. Then you just turn it into higher ones and sell it. Very solid. Training, you have to like training to turn it into profit because it is kind of like a slower activity. But if you're into training, then it could be good. And it's just more active than anything. And then bartering, I heard, is very solid right now. So it's one of those things I have to probably test on my own time. But that's about it. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I would love to see you guys come back. We talk about a lot of the current events in the game and just stuff in general, helping new players, returning players, and people who are just looking to get better. So we have a lot of videos, and hopefully some of my videos just help you guys. Anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a fantastic day. Peace.